meeting is being recorded.
Thanks. Be sure to mute your lines if you're not able to. You guys will be sure to mute your lines. That would be helpful. And we are going to get started. We've got a big crew with us tonight. So if you're still joining us, if you don't mind to put your name in the chat and where you're from. We're happy to have everyone. And at this time, we would like to welcome our Unified Event Support Nationwide Volunteer Leadership Team Chair, Selena.
Good evening. We're so excited. Welcome, everyone. We're very happy that you all joined us this evening for our opening ceremonies of our Lights, Camera, Cure UES Nationwide Volunteer Summit. My name is Selena Passafiumi, and I'm your United Event Support Leadership Team Chairman. At this time, I'd like to introduce to you our co-lead, Heidi.
I had to come off mute. Hi, we're going with the movie theme, Hocus Pocus. So that's the witch. This is my apron, which is a relay apron, and my stir for our cauldron. And we're hoping that you dare to join us. And if you do, you will learn things during all of our time together that will help us all close that ugly book of cancer. So I hope you join us. Thanks.
Thank you, Heidi. It is so fun to work with Heidi. I'm sure you can see that. All right, I'm so excited. So many of you have joined in this evening. We have so much to share with you. We're going to have 6 nights of fun and several inactive topics that we'll be discussing. You're welcome to join any and all topics that might interest you, but if you can't, don't worry. There will be recorded for each of you we can watch later. Also, be sure to hop on for the mix and mingle at the beginning of the first session of each night. This will be filled with fun icebreakers so you can meet other volunteers in the summit. We appreciate everyone that and get inspired. Thanks again for being an ACS volunteer and being part of our summit. And now let's get this film started with our UES director, Lisa.
Oh, I love it. I love your
Action.
clapper. Yes, I love your clapper. Hey, everybody. Thank you to Selena. Thank you to Heidi, our amazing volunteer leads for our Unified Event Support Team. My name is Lisa Adair. And I have the absolute pleasure of working alongside so many amazing volunteers and staff in our Unified Event Support team. And you might be thinking, what is UES? Well, as you know, ACS is known for so many amazing things: research, advocacy, Hope Lodge, patient services. But we're also very known for liking acronyms. So, I mean, come on, ACS, RFL, MSABC, CVC. Come on, the list goes on and on. And we landed on UES. UES, quite simply, is Unified Event Support, and it's amazing volunteers bringing great fundraisers and awareness to their communities, all supported by a remote staff partner. And remote means not in person, but available in so many other ways. What we like to say in UES is if a community wants to fundraise, this team is here to support them. So I couldn't be happier to have all of you guys with us tonight and over the next few nights. I know we're asking a lot. I know it's a lot of nights, but we have such great content and we're trying to do a nice bite-sized pieces so you can jump on when you can and you can listen later if that works for you. So as thinking about this movie theme, Lights, Camera, Cure, I was thinking, what movie really spoke to me about when I think about UES? And all of a sudden, light bulb, A League of Their Own. And I thought to myself, our volunteers and staff are in a league of their own. Everyone probably remembers the 1992 movie about the first all women's baseball league. I know, I mean, raise your hand. I know you remember this movie, but can you even believe it was 1992? I mean, that was like, I was like, oh my gosh, it's been a long time. So that was a movie about the first all women's baseball league. And what a completely different concept. And I thought, that's us, UES, a completely different concept, not something that we'd been doing at the American Cancer Society all these years of having Relay for Life and making strides. It was completely different. And so I thought, well, that might fit. And then I started to think, there were bumps along the way. If you remember Coach Jimmy Dugan and the best player, Dottie, they didn't always see eye to eye. But as that movie progresses, if you remember, the crowds start to come back and the crowds get excited, the team starts winning, and the players and coach really start to build a relationship centered around their shared love of baseball. And I was like, wow, that is us. We have hit some bumps and everything might not be perfect, but we have rallied and persevered through some very difficult challenges because of all of our shared mission for the fight against cancer. So I just thought, oh my gosh, light bulb in my head about this movie making me think of what we're doing with UES. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you for hanging in there. I want to thank you for being here tonight and for your attendance and your just kind of being engaged with us over the next few days. We're super excited to share the next few nights with you, sharing ideas, resources, and truly building relationships to help further the mission and elevate the relevance of the American Cancer Society. And I want to talk about a buzzword. Relevance is a buzzword right now. And to know the relevance of something is to know why it matters or how it is important. And I want to tell you why you are relevant in the fight against cancer. And what you are doing in your local community is relevant. So you might be thinking, but nothing happens at ACS in my community. There isn't a Hope Lodge near me. There isn't a research facility. But something that is happening in every community is cancer. People are facing a cancer diagnosis every day in every community. Cancer patients and their families have crippling fear and anxiety about how that diagnosis will impact their lives. But you know what else? What every community also has? American Cancer Society. You are the American Cancer Society in your community. And every fundraiser you host, every meeting you have, and every dollar you raise brings hope to those who need it most. And like all of you, I am ACS in my community. I started my hometown relay in 2002, which again seems like a long, long time ago. And I watched it grow to over $100,000 in my tiny little town of 6,000 people. But unfortunately, I also watched it cancel in 2016 due to a downturn in teams, sponsors, and dollars. And I was thinking maybe ACS is done in my community. Maybe ACS is over. Maybe no one needs us anymore. And then I thought, that's not true. everyone needs hope and everyone needs the American Cancer Society. So my cousin Stephanie and I started a brand new event here in our local town, and we called it Tackle Cancer. And the community's rallied around us, and we've been really excited about how everyone's gotten engaged. I will be sharing more about the Tackle Cancer event in the community fundraising section next Tuesday. So hopefully you can join in and hear about other fundraisers that are happening across the country and maybe pick up some really good ideas. So I want to thank you again for joining tonight and attending our virtual summit. But most importantly, I want to thank you for being the American Cancer Society in your community and for providing hope to those that need it most, people you'll never meet, people that will go on with their day-to-day lives, but you'll know that you help them in their time of need by raising the much needed funds, awareness, and sometimes just being an ear to listen to someone as they're going through their battle. So we're really excited to have some extra special volunteers on the call tonight. As you already heard from Selena and we heard from Heidi, I'd also like to introduce Ruth Fitzsimmons, who leads the West Region Leadership Team. She's an amazing volunteer who has embraced our UES team. Thanks again, Ruth. Can't wait to hear from you.
Well, thank you. And I just want to give a special shout out to, all the volunteers and the staff who've put tonight's or this week's summit together. From the sneak preview that I've heard, it just sounds like there's some wonderful things in store. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great, yep. Thanks. I'm sitting in an office and the light just went out, so I'm thinking, okay. So I relay in Marin County, California, so just north of San Francisco. And this year, our event moved to remote UES. And so, while we were still in the midst of the pandemic and everything was still virtual, our meetings, fundraising, everything was still virtual. In addition to that, we had to navigate our way through, what does UES mean? What does the UES events look like? How's it all going to work? And, really, when you stop and think about it, all our relay events, whether they're staff supported or UES remote supported, they're all volunteer led, right? They're volunteer led, staff supported. That's the very cornerstone of relay events. Though in some cases, we kind of moved away from that over the years. But as remote events, as UES events, there's a growing infrastructure of support at the national level, at the regional level, social media, the Facebook groups, all these great things where you can bounce ideas and challenges with fellow UES volunteers. So there's all kinds of things that are being put into place, and that's just really continuing to grow. And the great thing is, as UES volunteers, we're empowered. We're empowered to create the relay event of our dreams. So think about that, and think about the new ways that we can try things and just try them. One of the other things that we were thinking about for our own event, and I believe others were too, that we were initially struggling with this year, was the sense of success, especially where fundraising hasn't necessarily maybe met your expectations. But really, every raised matters, and the reason behind every single donation is important. And absolutely, fundraising is paramount, right? It's what funds our mission. It's why our events, exist to fund the mission of the American Cancer Society. But in my opinion, there's also other ways to define the success of your event. Was your heart full after your event? Did people have a good experience? And then it really came to me, experience. So when you think about the word experience, think about when you've had a good experience, like when you've had a really good experience at a restaurant or at an event. What do? You tell your friends about it, and then you want to go and do it again. So when you think about relay, I really think the focal point should really be experience, because when you build the fun, everything else follows. So speaking of experience, I wanted to read what I had written the day after our event this year. Out on the West Coast, we just started having in-person events toward the end of July, 1st of August. So we really didn't know what our event was really going to look like, right? So we're UES, we're in this pandemic. It's like, oh my goodness. But we have a great team of volunteers. And our event was fantastic. And The day after the event, in fact, the morning after the event, when I was still, purple stuff was all over my living room, my trunk was still packed, all of that, right? And you're still really tired. I just really put some words down on paper, and Joy, who many of you know, asked me to read this tonight. So I'm actually going to read this part of it to you. And hopefully it resonates with some of you. Yesterday was a day where I shared my story as a voice of hope, why being an American Cancer Society volunteer is so meaningful for me. It was a day where a 4-year-old little boy got to live out his Star Wars fantasy, and watching the pure joy on his face made me melt. It was a day where giving a little girl a beach ball from our decorations and sharing my crackers with her made her day. Yesterday was a day of heartfelt conversation, a day we all danced to the hokey pokey because that is what it's all about. Yesterday was a day where a recent cancer survivor attending her first relay walked the survivor lap with 2 people from my team. She shared her story at the end of the night, and she said to us, "I want to do this again next year." And we gained a new friend. Yesterday was a day my team gathered in front of the Hope sign and FaceTimed a teammate who just started her chemotherapy, showing her our love and support. Yesterday was a day where I watched the glow of candlelight in the luminaria bags I made for my mom, my sister, my brother, my husband, my aunt, my uncle, my grandmother, my cousin, my nephew, my brother-in-law, and many, many friends. And I reflected. Yesterday was a day where so many people said, "We will be back next year. This was great." It was a day where our community came together with a shared purpose, a shared goal, a shared passion to make a difference. Yesterday was a day when at 10 o'clock that night, Stephanie, my fabulous event lead, and I looked up in the sky. Our trackline luminaria bags were all around us, and we watched the clouds part and the full moon peeked out. At that moment, we felt the sense of love that our loved ones were saying hello. And that moment captured the real sheer magic of the day. Yesterday was a good day. Yesterday was Relay for Life. Today, I feel humbled and fulfilled and so grateful to have experienced yesterday. So when I think about how you define success, when you have a day where you can say yesterday was a day where my heart was full and people said they're coming back next year, to me, that's as good as it gets, right? That's golden. And so I really hope all of you take some time to reflect on your event last year and moving forward this year, and really focus on what makes you feel good and what makes you feel excited. What's the way that we can have the best experience possible and just move forward on that footing. So thank you for letting me share my story and my experience.
Thank you so much. Oh, am I echoing? Hi, everyone. I just want to say a big thank you to Selena, Lisa, Ruth, and all of you that are watching at home. This has been an amazing start to our UES Leadership Summit, and I'm so excited for all the fun to come. So here is a sneak peek of tomorrow's breakout schedule. Our first breakout will address fundraising, followed by ACS Can. Then we'll wrap up with being the CEO of your own event. So tune in tomorrow at 6:15 Central Time as we kick off another evening with our Meet and Mingle. Bye, guys.
Hope everyone can join tomorrow night. If not, it will be recorded. So thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.